I am going to guarantee you something. By the end of this video, you are going to understand the ERS and F1 Manager perfectly. You are going to understand it inside out, and it is going to massively improve your performance in races. It is not that complicated. So again, by the end of this video, you are going to understand it. I guarantee it. It's actually super simple. We just started here at Monaco with 100% battery in the tank. And there's only 3 things I'm really concerned about here. I've got the blue bar on the left hand side, I've got my battery amount, and I've got the yellow bar on the right hand side. What do they all do? Well, it's super simple, like I said. The blue bar on the left hand side is how much battery you are deploying, how much you are using during the lap, and you can use a maximum of 4 megajoules in a lap. So that's the amount of energy, 4 megajoules. The more I use, the more that blue bar increases. And at the point I've used 4 megajoules, the bar is full and I can no longer use any more. So very simply, can't use more than 4 during a lap. When that bar's full, you can't deploy anymore. So at the end of this lap, I've only got 0.9 megajoules to deploy. So that's super simple, the blue bar. The yellow bar is already full in this lap. What's the yellow bar? The yellow bar is how much you can harvest in a lap. So you can harvest a maximum of 2 megajoules. So we go over the line, both bars are reset, and you can see already just coming out of Saint Devot, turn 1, I've already harvested about a quarter of the amount I can harvest during a lap. We're coming up here into Casino, I've already harvested more than half of the battery I can use in a lap. So we're going to go around hairpin. So at this point now, I can no longer harvest any more energy in the lap. And what's the critical thing here? Well, you see the percentage figure in the middle? That is the battery available. That is the state of your battery. So now you understand the blue bar and the yellow bar. You know that on this lap, that battery is not going to increase. And this is a super important bit. This is how you end up in kind of an ERS hole. We've all been there. You're in this ERS hole and you just cannot. You keep running out of battery and you can't deploy. By the way, if this is helping you, please hit that subscribe button. 98% of you don't hit that subscribe on F1 Manager. Please hit it. And let me know in the comments if you found this helpful. So we're going to go over the line here, and I want to show you just how bad it can be when you get into this ERS hole in this really bad state. So you can see here I'm on deploy and the battery is 0%. We've all been there. Now what's going to happen here? I can only recover 2 megajoules on this lap, and I'm going to do that quite quickly. And it happens in the braking zone, so you can see that the driver is trying to recover the battery in the braking zones and deploys it coming out the corners. So here I've recovered half as much as I can over the lap. And again, when we recover a lot more here, okay, now we've recovered, that's it. So now we're massively in the hole. We've only recovered to a state where we've got 20% of the battery left, but I've still got almost 3 megajoules to deploy. So very quickly we come out of here as we go into the hotel, deploy, and that is it. The whole thing is frozen now. This is the critical bit that I think we all get so frustrated by when we don't understand the battery. Nothing is going to change now with any of those bars or the figure, because I can't harvest anymore and there's nothing in the battery to deploy anymore. So what's going to happen when I go over the line? The bars are going to reset, and again, coming in Saint Devot, I'm going to recover a little bit. Coming into Casino, recover a little bit more, but pretty quickly I'm going to have recovered those 2 megajoules, and during that time I'm also deploying, and that's why so early in the lap you end up in this situation where you're out of battery and you're not going to get any more battery until the end of the lap, and you're not going to get a big dump of battery. Those bars depleting, they're not depleting into the battery. It basically allows you to start harvesting again, and you harvest bit by bit in all of the braking zones. Now I want to show you something really interesting here, which is changing the commands from harvesting to deploy, because it's pretty obvious now that we're in a massive hole. And what we want to do, let's say in a race situation, we want to get that battery to a healthier state where we can start to deploy it like usual around the lap. So here we go, 20%, but even before I probably get into the tunnel, it's going to go down to 0%. And as we know, once it's down to 0, you're fully in the hole. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put it to harvest. And this is really illuminating. I think this is a bit that shows you just how simple the ERS and F1 Manager, and it's one of these things, it's like, when you don't understand it, it's just like alchemy. But when you understand it, it's so simple. So we're going to go over the line with 0%, and I'm on harvest. And you can see it says delta is 1 megajoule in the green per lap. Now this bit is really shocking to me, actually. So we're starting to harvest. We're actually going to deploy a little bit as well. So we're still going to deploy and harvest. It's not a state that you don't use the ERS anymore. But when it comes to the end of the lap, how much do you think is going to be left in the battery? Pretty much exactly. Have a guess right now. And here we go. So you can see we're zooming forward and I'm going to play it land here, going over the line, and we've got almost exactly 25% going over the line. We almost exactly conserved 25% of the battery, a quarter of the battery. We're going to go over the line again, and it's almost exactly 50% for lap 2. So how much do you think it's going to be for lap 3? There's no prizes for this one, I'm afraid. This one, you got to get it by now, surely. Even the Ferrari scratchers amongst you are going to know that as we go over the line, it's going to be pretty much 75%. So it's taken us 3 laps to get from 0 to 75%, and that's with pretty much no deployment. So for the end of the 4th lap, that's when we finally fully charged ERS and we got 100% in the battery. So if you're in a race and you're in an ERS hole, you've deployed too much, maybe deployed at the beginning, you forgot to take it off and you're at 0%, it's going to take you a long time to get that battery in a healthier state. But now we're in that healthy state, we can start to deploy again, and the battery's going to go down as we expected. So it goes down a lot quicker, by the way, than it goes up. So you can see I zoom forward here, I think 2 laps, and the battery is down to 0%. So it's going to take us 4 laps to recover, but only 2 laps to deploy. So do you understand the ERS by now? Make sure to hit that like, subscribe if you do, by the way, and let me know in the comments. But do you understand the ERS? Did that actually explain it? Because it took me a long time to get to this point and understand the ERS, but now I do. I'm so much more comfortable using it. I understand when you get in that hole, and I understand how long it takes to get out. I understand where the driver wants to deploy it, and I understand where they want to harvest it too, and that means I can sort of micromanage a lot better. So I hope you found this video helpful. I've got some super exciting news on the way with F1 Manager, and a lot of that is down to your support, so I'm super grateful. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck with that ERS deployment, and I'll see you all next time.